can't just let that be the only thing that went through my head, right? So the thing, and some of you I've shared this with before if you've worked with me, there are two paths that we can take when dealing with either crisis or what seems like crisis. One can be going down that panic route and just letting it take over, right? You just let that panic route take over, and you hope something good comes out of it, right? Or we can catch that and switch into oh, okay, that's interesting. This hurts, but I wonder if this is actually something that is dangerous. I wonder if this is an actual fire, right? But a lot of people that I work with, they just go down immediately into that worst case scenario. I'm not going to be able to walk. This is going to ruin me forever, that type of stuff. So I encourage you all that next time something like that happens, and this isn't to say that things don't warrant this, right? Like if I rolled my ankle and I still kept running, and like it hurt so bad that I really couldn't continue running, then yeah, like that might be a different scenario. Or if I was running and then all of a sudden like a car came and like clipped me like this, that's probably not good. And that's an actual warranted moment like that. But in many cases when we experience pain, probably 95%, I'm just kind of throwing out a statistic there, but in most cases, it's not something that is incredibly dangerous, right? Dangerous, though, does not mean that it can't be incredibly frustrating, and that it can't be incredibly debilitating, and that it can't be something that completely knocks you off your feet, right? And something that lasts for a long time, because sometimes fires do happen, and then the pain persists after that. And that's something that we need to acknowledge also. So, like the slide says, immediate panic can often lead to more pain and more disability. And our bodies really are resilient. Like they are super resilient vessels. It might not feel like that at times, but they really truly are. And the next thing that we're going to talk about here is that pain really is inevitable, right? So how many of you have had the common cold? Show of hands. Okay, literally everybody. How many of you have experienced musculoskeletal pain? So like a muscle, a tendon, everybody, right? Every single person in this room has experienced something like that. Some of you have pain right now. Some of you have had pain for a very long time, right? Very long time. And it's something that is going to happen again. I know that America and probably just society at large wants us to believe that we can just live these completely pain-free lives, and that's what we should shoot for, and that's what we should try to attain. But I don't think that that's necessarily even healthy, because ultimately we are going to experience physical pain, we are going to experience mental pain, emotional pain. These are things that we will experience. It's not that we should be gluttons for punishment and that we should just welcome this, but just acknowledging that this is something that we will experience. So planning in advance of how we're going to respond can be really, 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 really helpful. So in those moments where your smoke detector is going off and you want to go and say, oh shit, this is not good, this is not good. If you can catch that before it becomes full-on panic, a lot of times you can prevent a lot of the bad things that do happen with over-medicalization, too many surgeries, stuff like that. So getting into a few practical tips for pain. So we talked about one, that pain is really an alarm system, right? It is a smoke detector, right? Determining whether it is a fire, an actual fire, or some burnt toast. Not to say that burnt toast is pleasant, it's not. And also, number two, that there are these moments where we do go into a panic mode. And if we can move that, it can be really beneficial, and that we're also all going to experience pain. And then some practical tips. So I can't give specific advice for everybody right now in this group setting. However, there are two things that in general if somebody is dealing with pain, if one of you is currently dealing with pain and you want to be more active, these are the two things that I would suggest. So number one, finding a type of movement or type of exercise that you can do that either causes no pain, and if that's not realistic, then doing something where it doesn't increase it so much that you can't do it for 3 to 4 days, right? Doing something that you can tolerate to start with, and then building from there. So that means it could be something like cycling, hiking, walking, lifting, running, jogging, swimming, walking in the water. That can be a lot of different things. And then number two is choosing something that you actually enjoy, right? So if you're trying to be more active, doing something that you actually enjoy and starting with that can really help solidify that habit too. So those two things, choosing something that you can at least tolerate at first, and then finding something you enjoy, that can be a huge win, a huge win. If we have some time towards the end, I went pretty fast, we will go into MRIs and what we can actually learn from them, what they tell us, what they don't tell us, and we'll kind of go into that at the end if we have some time after the Q&A. Okay. So thank you. That was quick, right? 30 minutes, quick. I wanted to keep a lot of time for the Q&A and also to go through a few other slides. If you have put your email on that list, thank you. If you have not, go ahead and do that at the end. I'm going to be sending out some emails, one with some videos for different exercises. It's a whole mobility, like a whole body mobility routine, so I'm going to send that to you guys. And then I'm also going to package this video up and I'll send it out again too, and I'll share the slides so that you guys have this and you can look over it. Okay? So thank you. Thank you. Any questions from any of that material there? Does anybody want to start? Anything about the inevitability of pain? Or pain as an alarm system? Yeah, what's up, Barb?
I think the anticipation, say, for example, when you do this,
Go ahead.
I had a knee surgery.
Yeah.
The first one caused so much pain that the thought of going in for that second surgery was so anxiety-provoking, so fearful.
Yeah.
But after we had talked to people and we realized there was another approach to it, we went in with the thought that they could control the pain better,
Yeah.
and with the medication that they were going to use, wasn't cancer, but it was a pain medication
Yeah.
directly in the knee. The surgery was so manageable and so different. But I watched the anticipation that he went through of this, going through that pain again.
Right.
Was horrendous.
Yeah.
So that thought was a horrible thing to have to go through.
Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, I see a lot of people where that anticipation is almost worse than the event itself, right? And this happens with so many different portions of life too, where that even the anticipation of a big game or a big sporting event, oftentimes that will get you more anxious, right? Like even before this event, my heart was pounding, but now I'm up here and it's a lot calmer, right? So the anticipation, yeah, can be absolutely just crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a 90-day difference, and some of that was because I really paid attention, did everything I was told to do on the second go round.
Yeah.
And the other part of that was on the second go round, they put a pain catheter right in my knee, and I carried around a little purse-like device that fed some medication to it.
Right.
And I think a big part of it was doing what I was told to do before I had the surgery.
Yeah.
And the second one was maybe only 25% of what the first meeting was.
Okay.
So
Yeah. Did you hear that? Do your homework. Yeah.
do what the doctor tells.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah.
So, if we get hurt, obviously, or most times our first step is to go and you're going to prescribe what you described. How do you navigate through that to advocate for yourself if you know that that's not really the path that you should be going? I mean, how do you communicate that, or how do you get that point across?
Yeah, that's a great question. So the question was, if you guys didn't hear, was if you do have something like this happen where you think there's maybe a more conservative approach, something you don't think you need to go down this overly medicalized route, how do you navigate that? How do you have that conversation with your doctor when you go to them? What I would say to that is making sure that you ask them directly, like, hey, is this something that can be dealt with conservatively? Like, I would like to try out. Sometimes you have to advocate for yourself to even go to rehab. Like, there's so many times where there are people who have come to me and they went to their physician and they didn't know to ask that, hey, like, can I go to physical therapy? Can I go to see a rehab specialist? And a lot of times the doctor is just so busy, and this isn't. I'm not saying that doctors are bad, but just our current system, they have like 5 to 10 minutes, right? And so they're just like, well, here you go. So advocating by asking, hey, I would like to go to physical therapy for this. Would this be something that is helpful? And like probably 99% of the time, they're like, oh, yeah, absolutely. It's great.
So you're a doctor, right?
Yes.
Okay, so it needs to be put out there that you don't have to go to your regular physician if you have something. If you have a little pain and you don't have a broken bone or anything like that, that you can go to a physical therapist and ask that doctor what they think is the most helpful treatment. Because doctors have a tendency, as you said, not that I have anything against doctors, but I'm talking about medical doctors, they, I believe, think of physical therapists as competition. Because they would rather do the surgery, get a lot more money for it, than saying, for example, try physical therapy first and see if that helps. Because I went to the doctor, not that the doctor told me to have surgery, but I was told that I had a torn muscle. And she told me to take Tylenol for 2 weeks. And I did, but I still had the pain.
Mm-hmm.
So that's when I decided that I was going to ask her. I said, I would really like to go to a physical therapist. Would you please refer me?
Sure.
Now I have no pain at all, and I didn't have to take Tylenol, and I didn't have to have surgery.
Right.
So I'm just saying that.
And who did you go see?
I think I went to see you.
I didn't plant her there. She's not a plant. All right. I didn't plan this.
She planted me.
She planted.
Because I